Okay, so can you tell me, as nowadays many businesses, many companies which are conducting, which are commissioning marketing research, they are facing challenges related to switching from traditional offline methods to online methods. What kind of advice they should get in order to prepare for this process effectively?
It's a quite complex topic, First of all, they need to forget about old behaviors to build long, complex questionnaire, which is administered by the interviewer, because there is nobody to administrate. There is a respondent who needs to understand precisely each question. So the questionnaire has to be simplified, is the first thing. Then it has to be shortened. We know very well from our internal tests that the quality is dropping significantly after 10-15 minutes of the survey. When it comes to 30 minutes, for online survey, I think it's like a real limit. We shouldn't go farther, but we're still getting the RFQs where the clients wants to do 40-45 minutes online surveys. This won't work. So questionnaire has to be straight to the point, written with the clean language, easy to understand for the respondent, and quite short. This is the first thing. Another thing is to calibrate the data. I never suggest to move straight to the online, do the one, for example, parallel study, especially if it's tracking, for example, right? Because trackings are quite important. The data consistency is important. Quite parallel ways, 1, 2, 3, to see how the results are working. Then starts to move to online. And very often, it's quite easy process to cut unnecessary questions, because we have a tendency to ask too many questions instead of asking the right questions. So, and the final advice from me, it would be like not to be afraid about doing this, because online methodology, mobile methodology of data collection is already so well developed that they shouldn't have a problem to get proper results. Would you like something to add?
Yeah, another point which is very important in transitioning research from offline to online is to rethink the way of designing a sample. We have many clients used with traditional methods. They are still picking 1 or 2 cities to represent one country. But if I take the example of Vietnam, where we have an office, our first office actually, interviewing people from Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh is not enough. Those are big cities, obviously, 10 million each, which is 20 million people overall. But Vietnam is a country of almost 100 million people. Using online methodology has this unique advantage, being able to tap into any areas, even the most remote. Nowadays, everyone has access to the internet, even for the people living in very rural areas. And obviously, behavior from urban and rural would be very, very different. And using online, this is the only way to get opinion from consumers coming from those rural areas, and which still at the end of the day represent a much bigger pool of consumers for brands versus people living in a city. So we spend a lot of time working with our clients to help them transitioning into that aspect and make sure that they will have a sample much more representative to what they used before. And most of them, they actually discovered very, very nice trend thanks to this. And finally, the last, not advice, but suggestion that we always have for our clients is not to forget the power of online survey when it comes to questionnaire design. It's very easy to insert videos, to insert pictures, any sort of visual, and to use those visual coupled with open-end questions, for example, to have some stimuli, but also to have the qualitative feedback, which is corresponding to this. And this is very powerful things because we always differentiate quantitative and qualitative research, but using online research, mobile, and people taking part. So from desktop, you can really mix all this type of question to have a full 360 feedback from consumers.